Good evening, you're watching No Spin. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Well, the Prime Minister has sounded what they call the poll bugle for the 2024 general elections. At the concluding day of the BJP's two-day national executive in Delhi today, the Prime Minister told his party, you have 400 days to the next general election. It's time to reach out to all voters, particularly those between the ages of 18 and 25. He essentially set the pitch as the BJP seeks a record third term in the general election next year. Now, the party actually has already, in a sense, begun its campaign. In May last year, they had decided to focus on 160 Lok Sabha seats where they had either lost or won with a very slim margin, and to look to make gains in those seats, particularly in 5 southern states where they are weaker. They know that they may lose seats in the north and other parts of the country. So they're looking very specifically in a very targeted way at seats where they haven't done well. So the BJP is clearly in poll mode and has been for a while. The question is, who is the opposition to take on Narendra Modi? It's a question we have repeatedly asked, and now with the elections only a year and a half away, is it time for the opposition to declare who their face against Mr. Modi will be? Modi versus who? That really is the question today. We have a terrific panel with us today, and before I get to the politicians, because I know that it will become quite a debate, let me introduce first Mr. Sanjay Kumar, psephologist and professor of CSDS, and they've of course done extensive polling, exit polls, opinion polls over the years, and Shivam Vij, columnist and journalist, also joining us tonight. Shivam, let me ask you first, in terms of the messaging from the national executive of the BJP, what was your main takeaway from that in terms of how they're going to frame the general elections campaign?
Well, I think the reassertion in the persona of Mr. Modi means very clearly that they are reasserting that our brand is Modi, right? They're reminding everybody that they have the trump card, which is Modi. You may win a Himachal here or there, you may have a rising Amani party, you may have issues like inflation and unemployment, but they are reminding exactly what you said, Nidhi, that there is no opposition, that there is no alternative. The message is the same more or less as 2019, Aayega to Modi hi. We saw this in the BJP resolution as well, reminding people that the Supreme Court has rejected all charges against the Prime Minister. We saw in Mr. Modi's speech itself, we saw a reassertion of the fact that he is a mass figure, the reminder that we have to go back to the people again, that we are a people's party, we are a mass organization, the legitimacy of the BJP comes from the masses, the reminder to not get complacent. I think the message remains Modi. Modi is the message.
And Sanjay Kumar, would you agree with that? And also in your assessment, where does the opposition therefore then stand in when the BJP makes the battle very much about Mr. Modi? Is it at a disadvantage by not having one face to take him on? And is there also a danger of overconfidence? I mean, I remember the India Shining campaign and Mr. Vajpayee's tenure as Prime Minister. So, is there any danger of overconfidence in the BJP camp also?
First, Nidhi, on the question of where does opposition stand, I think for them it's a catch-22 situation. If they finally manage to, project someone as the face of the opposition parties, if all opposition parties agree to that, I think when people start making a comparison between that face, whichever is that face, and comparing it with Modi, I think that face is going to be less convincing to the people of this country compared to Modi's face. So even if they declare someone as the prime ministerial candidate, that's not going to work to the advantage of opposition. But if they don't declare, I think BJP will keep reminding the people that, look, if we come to power, this is Modi who is going to be the prime minister. And if opposition manages to form the government, who is going to be their prime minister? So this question they will keep asking. So just reminding the voter again and again that we have Modi, and the opposition doesn't have a face on which people can rely upon. So that opposition is in a catch-22 situation. Now the question is overconfidence can work against BJP? I think we may call it overconfidence, etc. But if you look at the way BJP contests election, whether it is about Gujarat or any other state, I think they don't leave any chances. They don't only contest election to win election. The way they try to plan to contest election is to just, they want to win big. That was the message from Gujarat, that was the message from, say, UP, Uttarakhand, many states. So I don't think that the overconfidence is going to be going to damage BJP's prospects for 2024. As of now, I see BJP clearly ahead in the electoral race of 2024.
Right, and it's interesting that you say that the opposition is in a catch-22 situation. Supriya Srinate of the Congress Party is with us tonight, and Supriya, how would you assess that? Is the opposition at a disadvantage simply because of the sort of Modi cult that has been created and the very very personality-driven campaign that the BJP has now centered around? Do you agree that the opposition needs to find one face to project?
So first things first, I think the whole cult creation is now beginning to be a problem for the BJP. The BJP, which fancied itself as a cadre-based party, if it's in the national executive, it's asking people to keep their cell phones out. There is a huge trouble there. There are huge factions within the BJP as well. The media may not want to talk about it. The BJP obviously wants to camouflage it. But the reality is that this cult formation is not helping the cause into which you go for elections. When you go to elections, and Mr. Modi being the Prime Minister for a decade now, when he goes into elections, he will be asked for a report card. And what does he have to show in his report card? High prices, unbridled prices, high unemployment, high levels of poverty, and huge income accentuation in the hands of few. Huge income inequality. The gap between the rich and the poor is only widening. So what does Mr. Modi's report card really hold? I think, this myth that one gets created, that there's such a well-oiled election machine, the fact that there is a cult about Modi. What is the cult? I would want to understand. Mr. Modi, under his own leadership, on his own face, has lost elections. So let's not get too carried away. I would also want to say one more thing. This whole, it suits the BJP to have Mr. Modi versus who? It is Mr. Modi versus all his failures and all that he will be accountable for and all the issues that the country cares about right now. We are just about to conclude the first phase of the Bharat Jodo Yatra in Srinagar on the 30th of this month. We have met crores of Indians who want to be heard, who are reeling under high prices, who are reeling under poverty, who are reeling under joblessness, and there seems to be no patience and no ear that Mr. Modi's men or his government or his people want to lend to them.
Okay,
so these are the issues of the election.
You're saying that he'll be judged, you're saying that the government will be judged on its record and that this whole sort of personality angle is being played up in a way and is a myth. And I'm going to come to the Bharat Jodo Yatra as well, Supriya. Give me a minute. I'll come to that as well and the political impact that is having. But Mr. Bhaskar Ghosh of the BJP is here with us in the studio. Mr. Ghosh, how do you look at what Supriya and the other guests have said so far? Is it that the BJP is trying to make 2024 very much centered around Mr. Modi in order to gloss over some of its not so great achievements as a government?
Yeah, Nidhi, first of all, let me tell you, Modi is not a name of the Prime Minister of this country. Today, the Modi means trust. Modi means performance. Modi means assurance. Modi means protections. Modi means development to $5 billion, trillion economy. Modi means prosperity. Modi means pro-poor. Modi means a lot. What you have just comparing with Mr. Advani in India shining. Now, these was not there with us that time when we talk about India shining. And today, India is really shining by showing the performance, by showing the protections, by showing every aspect of the governance. So what my fellow Congress spokesperson is telling, now show before 2014, what was the situation of this country and today where we are. Every verticals we can contest near 15 to 20 years in the future that no other party can achieve. Number one. Number two, today in these last 2 days our national executive meet, we have taken that we will go to the grassroots even 160 seats. That is a priority, but entire 594 sets we will go to the grassroots and we will reach this information to the grassroots level, and as per the policies and principles of our Deen Dayal Upadhyay, that is, it is pro people government and Antodaya Yojana. So our objective is Antodaya Yojana. to
So
reach.
you're saying the social welfare schemes combined with the sort of push around Mr. Modi is what is working in your
The
favor?
social welfare scheme pushed with the development and pushed with the foresights for next 30-40 years. We have targeted our development in different economic forums up to 2040,
Okay, so
2045.
Supriya has a quick response on that before I come to the rest of the panel. Yes, Supriya, go ahead, quickly.
It's all right to say these things in election rallies, but the election is still a year and 3 months away. Let's talk on hard facts. Whose prosperity are you talking about? The 1% Indians who hold 40% wealth?
Gujarat will give you the answer.
I did not speak in between. Please do not go with Gujarat with me, because then Himachal will also give you an answer. I did not speak in between. Extend me the same courtesy. Whose prosperity are you talking about? The 1% Indians? Whose pro-poor policies are you talking about? 50% of the poorest in this country are paying 64% GST. You are all right with that? What $5 trillion economy are you talking about? We were supposed to be a $5 trillion economy in 22. We will now be one in 29. We were supposed to double farmer income in 22. The farmer in India is earning 27 rupees a day. What are you talking about?
Okay, Mr.
Whose
Ghosh.
development are you talking about?
Answer her on this quickly, and then I'd like to go to Krishna Hegde of the Shiv Sena. Yes.
I think the answer is very specific. In all the verticals, in terms of the foreign reserve, in terms of the economic growth, in terms of the inflation, in terms of everything, you compare with 2014 and you are nowhere. You should have look into your collar that you are nowhere with respect to 2014. I think you can dodge, you can toy with your statistics, but the reality shows all the indexes of the development, all the index of the export, all the index of the foreign reserve, all the index of the per capita income, everything has
one
increased.
second. Let me just.
And that's the health of the
Mr.
development
Krishna
of
Hegde
economy.
is joining us. He's from he's Shiv Sena spokesperson with the Shiv Sena of Mr. Shinde, who's the current Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Mr. Hegde, what I also find interesting in terms of the BJP's politics over the last few years is that they've lost a lot of allies, and it's very clear that the BJP is pursuing and good for them. They're pursuing a strategy where they're trying to expand and strengthen their own party, and if that means doing it at the cost of erstwhile allies, so be it. As an ally of the BJP today, how do you feel about that?
Nidhi, if you go to see as an ally of the BJP, you see that the BJP has helped us form the government in Maharashtra. Secondly, I would say with the BJP and the allies, this time it will be up ki bar 400 par. And mark my words, it is going to be 400 par. And Supriya ji is saying, I just want to counter her on that. She has been saying a lot of statistics. I just want to give her very simple statistics. In the last 2 Lok Sabha elections, the Congress had not been able to cross the figure of 100 Lok Sabha seats. Whereas the BJP and its allies have crossed close to around 650 to 700 odd seats. So I think that itself answers the question that there is no comparison. It is not Modi versus the opposition, it is Modi versus who and where. There is no opposition left in the country because the opposition has become so weak today because they don't have any ideology. Let me tell you this, in Gujarat, the BJP swept the polls. In Maharashtra, though the Shiv Sena was in alliance with the NCP and the Congress, most people wanted the leadership of Mr. Narendra Modi ji, and that's why we all broke off from the Shiv Sena and we have formed the Bala Sahebanchi Shiv Sena. The same way, even in Goa, if you see, the BJP has won the elections there. So it's only if you are looking at facts and figures today, Modi ji is not only a national figure but also an international figure.
Okay, well, I will ask you this point. I mean, why is it that the BJP has lost? You stayed with the BJP, but it's lost very crucial allies over the years, like the Akali Dal, like Nitish Kumar, and so many others over the years, and they've been happy to do that. But we have Ravula Sridhar Reddy of the TRS also with us. Mr. Reddy, in terms of opposition unity, is the TRS willing to sort of shed what people like Sharad Pawar and others see as an impractical position on the Congress, where you are looking at opposition coming together without the Congress? Can the opposition really do that? It's still the main principal opposition party which is in a direct fight with the BJP in multiple states.
See, I don't know why people are hurried talking about opposition unity whether Congress will be there or not. Now, my good friend from Shivsena is saying that who will be opposing Modi, who will be against him. It is Modi versus the people of this country in 2024. And every development and social indicator which they were referring to, they are showing the downward trend in the country. Every aspect in the negative growth. Now, if you really ask anyone in this country to recollect the best 10 events of the Narendra Modi, it would not be a development program or a welfare launch. It would be definitely 9 out of 10 would be an election rally. So BJP today is a party of elections, and Prime Minister is only a prime campaigner of their party, not the Prime Minister of this country. You take any sector, you take agriculture, you take employment creation, you take industry growth, you take GDP growth, just few numbers, jugglery and articulated speeches, nothing more than that. So I am very clear. It is not the question who will be the alternative, who will be the leader of the opposition, whether there will be unity, whether Congress will be there. Definitely today, as BRS party, Bharat Rashtra Samiti, our leader has clearly announced our goal would be in 2024, it will be Abki Bar Kisan Sarkar. We wanted to see a government in the center which will favor the welfare of the farmers, favors of the welfare of the Kisan. So we'll be working towards
But
it.
on my question on the Congress, are you willing to shed aside the reservations as a party and find a practical way to work with the Congress?
Nidhi, it is not the question of whether Congress will be there or Congress is not there. Today the people of country are thinking beyond these lines, beyond the lines of few political parties or few leaders. It is all about a strong political, rather development and welfare alternative. We are tomorrow having a huge public meeting in Telangana in a place called Khammam, where 3 chief ministers and 1 former chief minister, Akhilesh Yadav ji, they're all joining us. And definitely BRS will work with all those political parties and forces who will fight Bharatiya Janata Party with a strong alternative agenda. The question is,
all right.
Fight.
So, I mean, you're not getting into specifics. Because we just have a few minutes left, I want to touch upon the Bharat Jodo Yatra, and we're going to talk about it, of course, in much more detail next week as it, enters the final phase. But Shivam Vij, I think a lot of people were skeptical about the Bharat Jodo Yatra and the response it would get. It has got a pretty good response, in places that many least expected, whether it was Haryana or even in UP, it was just there very briefly. Would you concede that as far as the way Rahul Gandhi has been projected, a lot of the perceptions about him may have changed? Now, whether that actually translates into something electorally is another question. But would you concede that the response to the Yatra has been something that has baffled a lot of commentators as well? Surprised them in a way?
Nidhi, it did not surprise me. You said whether it translates into votes or not is another question. It is not another question. It is the question. The Congress party has been getting around 11-12 crore votes every Lok Sabha election. That's a lot of votes, right? Even if that does not translate into seats, it's 20% votes roughly. And for a party that gets so many votes, it should be not very difficult to mobilize these many people. It should not even mobilize, to attract crowds. If you come onto the streets, I think the Bharat Jodo Yatra shows that the Congress party should have been doing this all these years when Rahul Gandhi has not been this active on the ground in a consistent way, in a national campaign, not getting bogged by state elections. So, yes, the Bharat Jodo Yatra ticks many boxes, gets many things right. The question of whether it converts into votes, I think C Voter had a very interesting survey in the early phase of the Yatra, which showed that Rahul Gandhi's ratings are coming back to what they were before 2019 election. Around the time Rahul Gandhi was doing the Rafale campaign, which everybody acknowledges was a failure, his ratings were actually the highest they've been, right? And that may have been for many other reasons as well. But essentially what's happening, what we are seeing here is that the Congress party's core voters are coming back to the party. The core vote that it got in 2019 or 2014, which risked going away to Aam Aadmi Party and the others, is being retained. It's a retention yatra in that sense. But is the yatra bringing any swing voters towards it? Is the yatra bringing any BJP voters to switch over to Congress? I don't think so. Is the yatra
Let me get Supriya to comment on that, because Supriya, This has been a debate for some time now that, you know, it's a worthy cause. No one can argue with a yatra that wants to unite people and so on. But can the Congress just say that it's not for elections? After all, you're not an NGO, you are a political party. You have to win elections and aim to win elections and look like you want to win elections. But do you think that, I mean, this has certainly galvanized your cadre, but in terms of its election impact, what do you think that that could be?
Actually, I entirely disagree with an assessment that was made a while back. I think with all due respect to that assessment, I think everybody is entitled to their views. I would want to say, and I've been out there in the field, in the yatra, participating and of course managing things otherwise from here in Delhi. The yatra has had tremendous response. And please understand, what are we marching for? We are marching for everything that stands against the BJP today, whether it is economic issues, whether it is unemployment, whether it is price rise, whether it is the social fabric being torn at every given opportunity by the BJP, whether it is, you know, this amount of fear that is being spread with minorities and socially marginalized. And look at the kind of galvanization it has had. These are not paid people who've been brought there. These are people who are coming out on their own, and people cutting across the social spectrum are joining us. And may I also dare say, this kind of a response when large sections of mainstream media have chosen to completely black out the yatra is very, very heartwarming. I head social media for the Congress, and so I know it's a huge success on social media, but large sections of Indian media have completely blacked out this yatra. That said, I think the yatra will have a tremendous impact on elections, and I agree with you. I have been saying this from day one. We are not an NGO. I don't even behave like one. We are a political party, and there will be political repercussions out of this. Today, when people are speaking about love, when they're speaking about peace, when they're speaking about unity, they are in unison talking about Bharat Jodo Yatra, which is exactly what we intended to do.
Ghosh,
and if it wasn't for the yatra, within 5 seconds, if it wasn't for the yatra, the Prime Minister would not have been forced to do a 700-meter road show here in Delhi before the National Executive. I say that with all responsibility, and I challenge the BJP if it was done for any other reason, if it wasn't for the yatra and the kind of
I'm just listening one-sided. I'm not really breaking the rules. But let me tell you, the road show by the Prime Minister in Gujarat, 26 road show shows what is the popularity of the Prime Minister. We don't need to prove it in Delhi because that's a courtesy road show, and that was organized by the Delhi BJP and demands. Number one. Number two, you are talking about Rahul Gandhi's yatra and all. Now let me ask a question. If yatra is so successful politically, why Gujarat debacle? That time also yatra was happening. Now you see that now some of the spokesperson that time has told in the same forum that we don't care for the winning the election, we are caring for the yatra. We are all engaged in yatra. So that is the result of a yatra when it reaches Kashmir, whether it reaches Kanyakumari, whether it reaches any parts of India. Because this yatra is just an, I can say, the euphoria of the people.
I'm out of time. I'm out of time.
This is not an index of any impact of political impact. Gujarat is the burning example of that. Just remember that.
Doesn't he have a point there that while your yatra was on a crucial state election like Gujarat, I mean, the Congress didn't even campaign there.
We won him actually. Give us some credit, yaar. I mean, you can't be saying what the BJP guy is saying, because if it wasn't for the yatra,
it is a fact, not his BJP guy is saying. It's a fact.
I would like to come in here.
1 second, Mr. Hegde.
That during this yatra,
1 second, Mr. Hegde. All right, clearly the Bharat Jodo Yatra has evoked a very strong reaction from the panel, and I have to take a break. But I promise you, Supriya, we are going to talk about it in much more detail next week, because it is going to Jammu and Kashmir. And it's the sort of end of the yatra, as we said. So what is the political impact going to be? We'll certainly look at that. Today was to look at the BJP strategy. But thank you very much to all of you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Goodbye.